In these two slides, we take a look at storage and types of storage, and I'm not sure that I actually am totally happy with the way the author put this together, because essentially there are really only three kinds of storage, and it would have been nice if it had been put together in a way that categorized those three kinds. Really, there are magnetic storage, optical storage, and electrical storage. And really, those are the only three kinds. But let's walk through these and kind of talk about what they are and put them in those categories. We have USB memory sticks or flash drives, as you know them, thumb drives. They go by a whole array of different names: secure digital and compact flash. All of those are forms of digital storage or solid state storage or electrical storage. They're made by, and let me get my drawing out here, they're made by having a grid of very fine wires that goes this way and a grid of very fine wires that goes this way, and where each of these junctions are, such as this right here, for example, where each of these junctions is, by putting electrical charges across these fine wires, you can charge a little teeny tiny capacitor, and it either charges or discharges that tiny capacitor in that slot. Now, they all work the same way, whether it's a USB memory stick or secure digital or compact flash. Now, they all have different footprints as far as physical size. They have different capacities, different lengths of time that they last, different durabilities, and they use different protocols, different logic. In other words, some might be a 1 if there's no charge and a 0 if there is a charge, and so on. But the underlying physical sense, they all work in the same way. So those are all solid state or electrical storage. CDs and DVDs, these are optical. I'll just put an O there, and up here for these, I'll put an E for electrical. These are all electrical. Magnetic tape is one of the magnetic storage types. Solid state drives are like hard drives. That is to say, they have a higher capacity than these, because all of these up here are small portable versions that are removable, whereas solid state drives are more typically permanent inside your machine. So these are a higher capacity hard drive, except they are solid state. So these right here are all the electronic type. Solid state. By the way, solid state have no moving parts, which helps them last a lot longer in one way. However, these little capacitors also wear out, which helps them to die earlier too. So it's kind of a give and take on that. And then hard disk drives are a magnetic technology. Now, there are others that are not covered here that I kind of wish were covered, but at least we have these now classified into the various types. Now, let's take a look at this next slide here. And here we have the SSD uses flash memory and high-speed interfaces. We looked in a previous chapter at random versus sequential storage, and these are random storage, and so that's one of the reasons they're very high speed. Another reason is because they use an interface type, which is a very high speed serial interface. SSDs also have no moving parts, as I mentioned a little while ago, and require very, very little power. In the case of a hard drive, the magnetic hard drive, it requires quite a bit of power to spin that disk around its moving parts. However, they don't yet have the capacity of hard drives. And by the way, they are more expensive than hard drives if you look at the per byte cost or per gigabyte cost. They are still far more expensive than a regular hard drive, magnetic hard drive. So what we often do is we often put the operating system and several of our programs, if not all of our programs, on the SSD, and then we use the HDD or the hard drive, the magnetic hard drive, for our data. Some people, if you have a smaller SSD, you might only have your operating system on the SSD and then have your programs and data on the hard drive. So those are common ways that we put those together.